Growing up, I was obsessed with open-world games like Zelda Breath of the Wild. All I wanted to do was run through the fields and chase dragons, but that wasn't an option beyond the screen in front of me and controllers in my hand. That wasn't until virtual reality came along and promised just that, an ability for me to step into these worlds and actually be a part of them.
Almost. Because with current VR headsets, we have the visuals down, but a great VR experience requires more than just looking at things. We want to be able to move around and interact with these worlds. But right now, you do this with your thumbs on a joystick, gliding around, or pointing and teleporting, or you're limited to pacing around the length of your room. And that makes VR feel like this out-of-body interaction. And to fix this, we've wanted to find a way to bring the physical world into VR with us.
So one day, I was scrolling on YouTube, and I came across this video Disney made highlighting a new invention they created called the holotiles. It allowed us to do just that, step into the worlds we wanted to be a part of, because they built these for their theme parks so the visitors can actually step into these worlds they built. And I so badly wanted to try it, but it was not available publicly.
Which meant that if we wanted to use this in our living room, we were going to have to make it for ourselves. Except we knew nothing about it. So, like any good college student, we looked for someone to copy. So we found the Disney patent, which is very complex with a lot of moving parts, and we distilled it into one idea, the holotile, the singular piece. And we set out to build that. And after a few prototypes, we managed to. We knew that once we had one, we could scale it out to create a whole platform. So we did. And then we put together a list of all the parts we would need. We went to go find people to buy the parts from. And then we stopped in our tracks.
Because it was $40,000. And obviously, I didn't have that laying around. So the question became, how could we build a better one and cut down the cost? And so I went back to the basics and asked myself, well, what was I actually trying to make? Well, there's two pillars that we had to address. First, it was, how do you move in all directions? And, well, how do you recenter the person? And so let's take it to the basics even further and think about simplifying the scope. How do we move in a direction simply and easily?
Well, it turns out humans actually solved this a really long time ago. Whenever you want to go somewhere, you just use a platform with wheels. So we took a wheel, which moves in one direction. If you want to move in another direction, you just rotate the wheel. And you rotate it again and again. And as you can see, we've reinvented the wheel. We like to call this revolutionary. It's called a ball.
So now that we had one ball, we couldn't actually move a person with it. So we decided to put it in an array and make it a platform out of it. And suddenly, we could actually move an entire person. This is a video of me trying this out. So I threw Tristan on an array of balls, and we made a platform out of it. You could see him wiggling around, and now he could move in all directions. So if I could come along and, crawl along the floor, pushing him, you could see him translating across, and him trying to recenter himself from falling off of the platform. Which takes us to the second point. How do we actually power this array of balls to keep him in the center without falling off?
Once again, it turns out that humans solved this problem a long time ago. If you want to go on a walk or a run, but stay in one place, what do you use? That's right, a treadmill. So we knew that whatever we made needed to combine balls with treadmills. And the question became, how do you do this in a way that actually works?
So conceptually, this is actually a more difficult problem than you think. Because ideally, you want to place one treadmill that allows you to move in one direction, and a treadmill in the other direction to move you as well. But that doesn't work in practice. And so we had to take inspiration by looking into other ideas. And we realized we're not the first people to actually think about this problem. People have been working on it for a really long time. And the term they came for this is an omnidirectional treadmill, which aligned exactly what we wanted. A platform that allowed you to walk in any direction while keeping you in the same place.
And so we tried some designs. At first, we made this net of balls, which was just too complicated. Then we actually came up with this cool thing with rollers, which would let you move up and down as well. But this was the same problem as before. It's too expensive, and we couldn't build it. So we just started designing more, kept iterating.
And about half a year later, we came to something entirely new that actually worked.
And here's how the components come together. We take that treadmill, which moves in one direction. Then we take the balls that you saw me standing on earlier, which we know we can push around to make things move. What we then did is you take that and you put it on top of the treadmill. When you move the treadmill, it connects to the balls and still moves the thing on top. And obviously, you can still push the balls around to move in a direction. What's cool is that if you do that at the same time, you can move in any direction you want. And all that's left is to extend that mat of balls up and wrap it around the treadmill, and then we get what we wanted from the beginning, a treadmill on a treadmill. But we know the animation's a little interesting, so we're going to show you the real thing. So right now, we see Chloe on a treadmill, and what you see on the screen is what she sees in the headset. Just wait, okay. In a second, Chloe's going to start to move. Going green, 3, 2, 1. And the treadmill is going to counteract her movement.
So now that you've seen this yourself, you might be wondering exactly what I did when I saw the holotiles. How do I actually try this? And I'm actually glad to say that we're open sourcing this so you can build this too. And because we're broke college students, it wasn't the $40,000 price tag you saw before. We were able to get it below $900.
And so that means, for less than the price of a new phone, we did manage to bring the physical world into VR with us. And now that we've built this, VR can deliver on its promise and give us the ability to step into any world that you want, so long as you can imagine it.